that a war on Iran is a real possibility? What kind of posturing do you think is going on right now with the election, Obama, Netanyahu? What should people be doing about this? Robert?
Well, first of all, I do want to say that we have some common ground here that's very important. I'm not going to be a liar and say I'm never going to vote for the Democrats again. If I were in Massachusetts, I'd be actively working in Elizabeth Warren's campaign because I think she exemplifies an honest position, extreme integrity and clarity on this economic crisis. I would do it with enthusiasm. If you have any relatives in Massachusetts, they should be out there walking precincts for her. There are people that we have in this state that represent us and who are Democrats that I do respect. As I said, I contributed to Dennis Kucinich's campaign, spoke for him at a fundraiser at Stanley Scheinbaum and Betty Scheinbaum's house. So I don't know. True confession, I once actually ran as a Democrat, the seat that in Oakland that Ron Dellums then had and as Barbara Lee has. So I'm very proud of that, what we did to the Democratic Party there. But I also ran as an independent in the state in a much more full-on effort. So I don't think that should be the touchstone here. I think what we should talk about is what you're getting at, which is the integrity of the position. And anybody who comes along and wants to rationalize going to war in Iran, the specific question, as they did with going to war in Iraq, want to lie about this waste of human resources, physical resources, this incredible tissue of lies that they weave for these things. Denying all previous history, denying any role that the United States had in Iran, insisting on denying any complexity of any kind, and actually producing the exact opposite result of what you want. We went into Iraq, and what did we do? This was the opponent of the Ayatollahs, right? Saddam Hussein. It was the one place, I'm not going to celebrate Saddam Hussein. I'm in enough trouble here supporting Ron Paul. But Saddam Hussein, was the guy, Al-Qaeda couldn't operate in Iraq, right? He smashed them. And he was fighting a war on our side against the Ayatollahs. He was our guy. And then in response to 9/11, which he had nothing to do with, we go invade him. Because we don't want to invade Pakistan, they're our big buddies. So we invade him. We don't want to invade Saudi Arabia, where 15 of the 19 hijackers come from, so we go in there. What do? We overthrow Saddam Hussein. We don't get this great democracy we're supposed to be getting. We get a pro-Iran government in Iraq. The main reason the U.S. government cannot move against the Ayatollahs is there'd be absolute chaos in Iraq. I mean, there's no question about it. These people live their lives in exile, that we put in power, and everybody knows it'd be totally counterproductive, but we're meddling once again. I think what Cynthia said should really be the touchstone here, which is, do they stand for peace? Do they stand for economic justice? I'm talking about anybody who speaks to you, anybody who pretends to be a leader, anybody who has a position. Where are you on these critical issues? Do you feel the pain of people in Riverside, California, who've worked cleaning those office buildings all over the state, and they go back to Riverside buying this home that people conned them into, and now they're losing it? Do you feel their pain? Do you care about the people who can't find jobs, even though you have to have a tenured position, or you have a job with the city? I live downtown here in LA. The people working in most of the state, city, federal offices down here, they go to good restaurants. I go to good restaurants. I'm not going to lie about it. But so they don't feel that pain. We have some little furlough layoffs and everything like that. But some people, it was true in the Great Depression. Some people not doing badly, and others really hurting. So the real question to be asked is, are we addressing the serious grievances in this world and here? And I'm sorry I left out my key example. I stupidly worked on this long speech, have it in my pocket. But I do want to make a critical point about what I think is happening, and the thing I set up before about the multinational corporations in this world that we're in. And I would revolve it around three words: Google, Facebook, and Apple. And what you're seeing is the real struggle right now. Today, Apple came out with revised iPad. But for the first time, people are actually asking questions. How are these iPads made? Yeah. You know, Barack Obama had held up Steve Jobs as the great jobs, but Steve Jobs didn't create jobs here. You know, what are these jobs that are created? Is it a human right to be in a union? We're talking about human rights around the world, and Chinese workers have the right to organize. I was in Vietnam, supposedly a communist country, and I went to the Nike plant. I went to these different plants. People are arrested if they try to have a protest. Okay? So when we talk about human rights, are we talking about the right of people to organize, to redress grievances? Are we talking about the right to form unions, to speak up, to not be fired, to not have child labor, to not be exploited in that way? It's absolutely critical. Google and Facebook, they don't create jobs. What they do is sell our privacy. That's what they're about. There's a lawsuit right now. They've treated these companies this somehow they're virtuous capitalist companies. They're not. And so it seems to me the struggle right now has to be over how do we comprehend these things? And here I agree with Cynthia. I think you have to return to some core principles of fairness, justice, you know, equality, and then you say, okay, where are the people championing? I do want to disagree on one point. Maybe this will blow me out of the water here. I think it's very easy, I'm not saying you're doing this, it's very easy to, trust me, I know how to pander to, I know how to say what people want to hear. You know, I've been around the block. But I want to tell you something. Feeling good in Topanga is not the same as feeling good in large parts of America, okay? It is not a satisfactory political posture. It really is not. It may get you through the night, you know, it may make good conversation on what is it, Rocco's and down the street there and everything. But the fact is that this is not America. It's a wonderful place, but it's not America. And right now, there's people really hurting out there, and we have to address those grievances. Okay, now if the Greens can do it, don't get me wrong, if the Greens can do it effectively, if there are Green voices organizing, just as, you know, what was Occupy? Was it an anarchist movement? Was it a Green movement? Was it just individuals?
What is Occupy?
Okay. I'm sorry, what? What is? Great, we're Miriam's here. But the point is, we applaud it and should applaud it because it broke through. If the Greens, Ralph Nader, at one point in his life, did break through. It's been a while. Okay? So what we have to look for are results. What works to raise the issues? When Marcy ran against the war machine, that broke through. There's somebody raising her voice, saying, no, it's not enough to be this great liberal Democrat because you're with the war machine. You know, it's not enough. And she raised those issues. So what I'm saying is, instead of getting divided over whether you're with the Democrat Party, the Greens, or what have you, you know, let's talk about what message are you carrying. What are you saying? Are you shutting up to be convenient to the party? You know, or are you actually speaking truth? If you're speaking truth, hey, I wrote for Playboy, you know. I'll go in any arena. I'm not proud that way. I'll put my poster up in the subway, you know. But the fact of the matter is, what is it you're addressing? The great thing about our former Congresswoman here is that she spoke truth.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. And you spoke truth as a Democrat, and you speak truth as a Green. And that should be the thing we're looking for. And we can disagree about the particular way of advancing the struggle.
Right.
I want to say something, and that is, I just wanted to say what's important to me. And ending the U.S. participation in wars, that's important to me. And because I wanted my government to be a government that represented and worked for peace, I was targeted by one group of individuals who are very powerful in Washington, D.C., who do not want peace. And I'm talking about the pro-Israel lobby that is orchestrated by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And we can applaud. I don't know, you know, the local politics here in Southern California probably the way I should. But we can applaud the fact that Marcy ran for Congress, but were it not for the tentacles of AIPAC and the pro-Israel lobby, Marcy should have been sworn in as a member of Congress. So one of the things that I look at when I assess a candidate is whether or not that candidate is more loyal to AIPAC and its tentacles than it is to the values that I want this country to represent. And so if we use a different standard, it's very easy for one candidate to be very good on one issue. In fact, it's probably good for one candidate to be very good on many issues. But what is the core issue? That's something that each of you will have to decide for yourselves. But I've decided that I don't want any more war criminal presidents. And so there was a Harvard University Kaiser Family Foundation study that was done some years ago. The study looked at what white attitudes are to black issues in this country. And basically what the study found was that white people don't really know what black issues are in this country. For example, how many people have heard the name Trayvon Martin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Trayvon Martin was in his family's neighborhood, which was a gated community, and he was killed by the security guard who presumed that he didn't belong there because Trayvon is black and the community is not a black community. So now I did some searching because I wanted, if we're going to have a real talk about how we can have a movement in this country that is going to bring people together, then it's vitally important that people understand how people have to walk in this country, in this community. You, in order to understand when I say that Ward Connolly was wrong, and now the work that Ward Connolly started is being finished by the Supreme Court, and we shudder to think what higher education is going to look like when the Supreme Court finishes eviscerating whatever is left of affirmative action in education. And so if you don't understand me and don't understand my plight, then we can remain balkanized as a progressive community and not an effective force for change. And that's exactly what I believe a part of the problem is, that we have become balkanized in our respective areas. We like to hear what other people say when they agree with us, but we shy away when the news isn't quite as good as what we think it is. So I think all I'm trying to say is that I held a conversation with the executive director of the Libertarian Party, because what I want to do is to see if there is any way that we can work together. If we can come together on one issue, that will make us stronger. And if we find a way to work together, on one issue, then maybe we can work together on two issues. And from there, build and build and build. Now, it's very difficult for me to make that cross over to the other side when the libertarians believe that the Civil Rights Act was wrong, was a bad piece of legislation. I'm willing to have the conversation with them on war, but I got to educate them on my right to sit at a lunch counter next to them. But if I remained only with people who think like me, I wouldn't grow as an individual, and our movement wouldn't grow as a force. So we have got to do some heavy lifting, and we've got to get outside of our comfort zone. And finally, back to this Harvard University Kaiser Family Foundation study. The erosion of, at first there was affirmative action in civil rights. Then there was affirmative action in voting rights. And then there was affirmative action in education. There was affirmative action in economics. And little by little, by little by little, Supreme Court decisions chipped away at all of it. I had the distinct pleasure, I think I've kind of fallen in love with him, of hosting Gilad Atzmon in Atlanta. And, well, I didn't host him, it was Veterans Day, but I was present at his presentation. And he said something that was tremendously touching. He said that the United States, he'd been to 26 countries, 26 cities, in the United States, and he hadn't seen poverty. And the reason he hadn't seen poverty is because the United States is segregated. It's a segregated country. I'm in the process of doing a national tour with the International Action Center called the Build People's Power Tour. We are doing just a test. I will be, actually on the 18th, I will be at USC for the Los Angeles version of that. We started in New York, standing room only, then went to Philadelphia. People didn't want to leave. Then we went to Baltimore. And in Baltimore, that was the most touching, because the problems that people are facing, if we really care about the people that we say we care about, we got to know them. And there was an 18-year-old boy, young man, who got up and spoke eloquently, and he was homeless. He didn't know where he was going to sleep that night. So immediately our theoretical, intellectual discussion about politics in the United States turned into how can we secure this young man tonight and for his future nights. That's what we have got to do. And so I guess maybe I'm making a plea to go into the unfamiliar, and it's okay. That's why I say I hold this and I say that it's okay to say it incorrectly. I'm going to be testifying at the in Canada who had tenure, and he was fired, even though he had tenure, for supporting the black students and the students of color who felt that they were being discriminated against. And the university went and got a black person, a black professor who is not yet tenured, to write a scathing report against the students. And the white professor came to the students' rescue. And now that professor is being sued in court, so I'm going to be an expert witness for the professor. So the paradigms, they all have changed. And that's why it's important for us to see what's in a person's heart. This professor called the black professor acting like a house Negro. So my role in the court is going to be define what a house Negro is. And I think we've got a lot of experience with that down here. But anyway, I don't want to go into too much, but I just think that there are certain things we have to do, and there's certain things we have to say, and there's certain things we have to talk about if we're really going to be authentic. And authenticity is the only way that we can come together and see each other's humanity and then build a movement to get rid of the tyranny of the 1%.
I do want to respond. And, we all want to be authentic, and we all want to hopefully have good hearts. That doesn't mean we always agree. And I'm not going to defend AIPAC and everything it does, but I must say AIPAC's position on going to war, or if you think of their position with Iran, was rejected by Barack Obama. That's just the reality. On our show last week, I said it was Barack Obama's finest hours, but now whether he'll stick to it, I don't know. But I think, first, I don't think the U.S. I don't think AIPAC has run American foreign policy. I have a chapter in my last book, which you can read all about. I tried to go through it. I think, for instance, the deal that was made with Saudi Arabia by this administration, which is truly reprehensible, where Saudi is buying all of this equipment from Boeing and other arms contractors. We are locked into Saudi Arabia for the next decade. That was not Israel's wish, and it was not AIPAC's wish. That was done because Boeing and the other defense companies wanted these contracts. I think the biggest problem that AIPAC has is I don't think they speak for the American Jewish community. And I think that we have groups like J Street, we have a lot of other groups, and I think if you look at the anti-war movements that have taken place, if you look at if you even look at the people who have spoken out in defense of Palestinian rights, you find a disproportionate number of those people relative to their place in the population who are Jewish. I know, I've been involved in those efforts. So I think the point is, I don't think we should give AIPAC too much credit, nor do I think that serves as an explanation of how and why we go to war. I don't think it explains why we went to war with Iraq, and I don't think it explains why we go to war with Iran. Let me give you an explanation of why I think it happened. If you look at the history of Iran, how did Iran get to be this crazy place? You know, it's when we... Hello? Good. All right. I remember one day sitting at the Los Angeles Times bothering my wife, and I said, can't we go eat lunch? And she said, why don't you do some work? She was the weekend editor. And she said, what interview would you like to do? And I said, I'd like to figure out, I'd like to talk to Kermit Roosevelt, figure out how he engaged in the overthrow of Mossadegh, the last secular popular leader. So my wife went over to the phone bank. We didn't have the internet in those days. She found his name in the Washington phone book. Kermit Roosevelt, the CIA guy, did it. I called him. He happened to be on a hospital bed. And he laid it all out. He made a very interesting story. It turned out to be an accurate story. So we meddled in the history of that country. The key point is the meddling. Right. The meddling. And we distorted that country. And as a result, we have the politics that are emerging. Because we don't take a consistent position on the abolition of nuclear weapons. On the contrary, since we led the world in developing nuclear weapons, since we killed 187,000 people who are primarily fishermen and their families and children in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and we continue to develop new weapons, and we look the other way when Israel and Pakistan develop weapons, we don't have the moral strength or clarity to speak on this issue. That is the biggest problem we have right now. But I just would be dishonest if I sat here and I thought that AIPAC represents the major manipulative negative force in American politics. I think it's a force that's losing steam, that increasingly is out of touch with the American Jewish community, and I don't think it's the great menace, frankly.